chance of this was 50%. This man carefully approached Chi Zio Zio. Then Bai Wu understood, and the system told him that the chance that he is a bus pickpocket is 100%. He wrote to her that the guy in the black jacket next to her is very muddy, she should be careful. The Czech immediately raised her head. She turned around and saw Bai Wu, and wondered what he was doing here. You shouldn't expect anything good from him. And I texted him that he was croaking again. Bai Wu replied to her that she is an ungrateful person. She is not able to distinguish a good person from a bad one, which she is. A minibus arrived here. They announced that passengers can get on the bus. Then this man crept up to the girl again and touched her, but the girl felt it and turned around. Then the man apologized to her and said that he did not intentionally push him, just someone from behind. Chi Zio Zio started looking at her phone again and said okay. Bai, watching all this, thought that this girl was not listening to him at all. Has this man already started acting? Don't you girl understand anything at all? Then Bai Wu couldn't stand it and rushed to her aid. But the girl herself was not a blunder. She immediately disarmed the man. Using the technique, I threw it on the road. People were alarmed and asked what was going on. Zio Zio said that he wanted to possess her. Bai Wu looked scared and thought that she was also standing in front of him. Isn't this the movement of a martial artist? Zio Zio looked at Bai and thought, why did this raven croak again? Maybe he just wanted to help her. No, there's definitely something wrong here. Bai had already rushed to the leak and thought that he was finished. It seems that this strong girl is the same person who sold the sand there that he bought. He needs to get away from this girl as soon as possible. He will need a couple of minutes in order to get to the car dealership, but the system said it would be 0% for him. Then he got even more scared and thought, what happened? Why can't this bus get to the dealership in a couple of minutes? Why is he so unlucky? Bai Wu, getting on the bus, thought that today was some kind of unlucky day. But is it possible that it's all because of traffic jams? Is it possible that a traffic accident will occur? But the system said traffic jams are 0% and crashes are also 0%. But why does he have such a bad feeling? He walked away from the bus and wondered if there could be a criminal inside. The chance that the bus will be hijacked is 0%. The chance that there will be hostages on the bus is 0%. The chance that there will be a fire in the bus is 100%. The chance that there is a criminal on the bus now is 100%. Bai Wu grabbed his head and thought, what should he do? Now there is a criminal on the bus and he wants to set it on fire. What should he do? If he carries out his plan, a lot of people may suffer. He wants to prevent it. However, he is not sure he can handle it. He doesn't have time. He needs to call the police urgently. He took out his phone and called the police. He said he wanted to inform them that there was a criminal on the bus who wanted to set it on fire. The police asked him if he could tell them his location. Bai Wu whispered to them that the bus number 666 stops near the antique market and goes to the car market. There are too many people on the bus. He mixed up with the crowd. The police said that they will mark this call as an emergency. Bai Wu said yes and asked them to hurry up because the criminal has 8 or 9 liters of gasoline. He can set everything on fire at any moment. Then the police asked him if he could prove it. Bai Wu thought that if he couldn't prove it, he would be severely punished for providing false information. Then he was bombarded with questions from the policeman that how did he know that the criminal would set fire to the bus, and where did he get the information about the number of liters of gasoline, and how did he know that he would sit at this particular stop? Bai's head began to boil, and he thought that how could he prove it all? There's no way he can do that. Why can't they just believe him? Then he saw that the bus was about to leave. Having challenged, he thought that they would not have time to help. If there were no police nearby, then he himself should stop the criminal by any means. He looked at Chi Zio Zio and thought, is she really driving a bus too? Well, now is not the time to think about it. Now the most important thing is to save people. Then Bai Wu suddenly remembered how she had neutralized that man and thought that at least this girl was also dangerous. Now we need to think about how to catch the criminal. Then the police called him back and said that by a lucky chance their police officer, who is now on vacation, was on this bus. If he discovers the culprit, then no hasty action should be taken. Hearing this, Bai Wu was very happy and thought that are the police here. He squinted at Chi Zio Zio, then thought that, but a policeman doesn't know what a criminal looks like either, but he has an idea. It is interesting to know what is the chance that the criminal is sitting now. The criminal is sitting 100%. The criminal is sitting in the front seats, equal to 0%. The criminal is sitting in the back 100%. After that, Bai Wu began to make his way to the back seats. Then he looked at Chi Zio Zio and thought, why is she chasing him? But he doesn't have time for games, he needs to find the culprit. It would be difficult to get 8 or 9 liters of gasoline on the bus, most likely he has a backpack with him. Then he noticed a man who was all dirty and unshaven, and was holding a backpack on his lap, and then Bai Wu thought that maybe it was him. Then the man turned away from him and tightened his grip on his backpack. Bai Wu thought, did he guess right? He shouldn't have behaved so suspiciously. He suspects this guy. He's too nervous. And he also clung very tightly to his backpack to hide his suspicions. Wait or pounce on him while there is an opportunity. What should he do? Then Chi Zio grabbed him by the shoulder and told him to hide. Bai Wu thought that he was very sorry, but he must not be up to games right now. A police officer is watching him. It was 100% information. After which he started shouting that he was not mistaken. Is she really the aggressive girl from the airport? She should stop following him. He hadn't done anything to her. In this way, Bai Wu tried to attract attention. And I thought that now is a good time to attract the attention of the officers and bring this guy to the surface. Excellent opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. It needs to be done now. But then Chi Zio told him to save himself. Why doesn't he run? After that, the girl bumped into him, but I'm afraid he managed to duck, saying that it was just a misunderstanding. By chance, Zio grabbed that man's backpack and it opened. The man got angry and asked what she was allowing herself, after which, the enraged man stood up. Bai Wu was really scared and thought that why did everything happen so quickly. But then this man got hit by Zio right in the face. After that, she finally neutralized him. She took out her handcuffs and said that the police were working. He was arrested. She picked up one of the bottles of this man and after sniffing it said that it really was gasoline. Bai Wu was very surprised and thought that she was also a police officer. He needs to get out of here right away. All the passengers got off the bus. Bai Wu tried to leave quietly, and Chi Zio, exhaling, said that finally. And grabbing Bai Wu by the shoulder, he said that she heard that he was the one who alerted the police. Bai Wu thought that she was pissing him off. Why does not continue to pursue him all the way? He wouldn't be able to explain to her how he found out about it. We need to come up with something. And turning to her, he said that if he would tell her from them alone. The monk, confused, from the mountains told him about it. But why does she look like she doesn't believe him? She should think about what happened earlier. Zio thought, why is his crow's beak talking such nonsense? Bai Wu clutched his head and thought what the hell he had just said. As expected, he failed to hold it. Therefore, he needs to get out of here faster. But he was blocked by Chi Zio, who told him to stop talking this nonsense. And she asked him how he knew. He should tell her about it immediately. Bai Wu was very scared, asked her what to say. Chi Zio asked him that, in his opinion, an ordinary citizen somehow knows the information about the arson of the bus, right? Bai Wu pushed her hand away and told her to thank him better. As a law-abiding citizen, he should have alerted the police. Chi Zio said she didn't really believe it. She pressed him against the wall and told him to remember now that when he called, he had not yet boarded the bus. Is he personally acquainted with this criminal? Bai Wu told her that it was just her guesses. Chi Zio said that of course, maybe they would move to a more convenient place where they could have tea and talk. Just the same, there he will tell her everything in detail. Bai Wu was even more scared and thought that my god, how insidious she was. This time he's in serious trouble. Muir was also in this place. She asked if it was really Bai Wu. Bai Wu asked her what she was doing from there. Chi Zio loosened her grip and asked them, what, do they really know each other? Muir said her car broke down and she was taking her to the workshop. And turning to Bai Wu, she asked him what was going on here. Bai Wu wondered why this situation was like being caught with a mistress. But this is a great chance. He winked at her, then shouted that it wasn't what she thought. He has nothing to do with her. He began to sob and fell on his knees in front of her. And he continued to say, pointing at Chi Zio, that she herself had started to molest him. He doesn't know who she is at all, and he has a girlfriend that he loves very much, so let her stop running after him already. Chi Zio didn't even have time to react to anything, as people already began to condemn her. A man in the crowd said that this girl is so beautiful for what she allows herself. That's just terrible. Another man said he thought this guy had just been caught with another one. Let them just look at his face. The woman was horrified and asked if he had changed one of them. What kind of horror is it? The blonde said that such beauties. This guy is a success with girls. Chi Zio asked him that yes. Who is running after him here? Bai Wu turned to Muir and said that she could see she wouldn't let him go. They looked at each other again, and the girl said that he was her boyfriend. Maybe she would stop touching him already. The audience was very focused on this scene. Zio clenched her teeth hard in anger. Bai Wu noticed and thought that more and more people were gathering. Zio didn't wait for any response from Bai Wu and punched him in the gut. Bai Wu started to clear his throat, and Chi Zio passed by his so-called girlfriend and said that he was not interested in him, but she advises to be careful with him. After all, this guy is far from who he pretends to be. After Chi Zio left, Muir, turning to Bai Wu, asked him how is he? Is everything alright with him? Bai Wu said that, at least for a while, he was able to get rid of this problem. Thanking the girl, Muir said he helped her too, so now they're even, and she apologized to him again for that incident. They were watched by Qin, the son, and gnawed his nails. She said that it was so decided after all. Molest Muir, but this time he won't get off so easily. Day 2. Bai Wai finally bought a car for himself, and now, sitting at the wheel, he thought that he was not decisive enough for the appearance of any feelings, and in general he was confused by them alone problems. He won't contact them anymore. In the future, we need to stay away from them and focus on making money. The whole life is just a fiction. He came to the same place again and thought that only the money was real. He got out of the car and thought that he felt this feeling, familiar to him from yesterday, the feeling of money. He came to his usual place and asked if Lao Wang was not here. The man who was sitting next to him said that yes, yesterday he told him that he would go to the village for a new product, and he'll be gone for a few days. Bai Wu asked already what is the chance that he will have a genuine antique. The system said that the success rate would be 100%. Realizing this, Bai Wu exhaled and said that well, okay, but will he be able to find antiques today? He was given 0%, and he thought what it meant. And I thought, what is the chance to buy an antique on the market? The system told him that the chance to buy an authentic product was 0%. Bai Wu scratched his head and thought that, why is the data so much different from yesterday? It seems to him that there are antiques here, but he will not be able to find it without help. But what difference does it make? He can handle it himself. And from around the corner, Qin was watching him. 30 minutes later, he approached the man who was selling the product and taking the pot. He realized that it was a genuine antique 100%. And I asked the man if he could sell it to him. The man said it costs 3,000, but he can give him a 5% discount. Bai Wu didn't like it and told him that 50% was better. The man smiled at him and said that it was good. 50 so 50. Bai Tu repeated that the discount is 50%, and he agrees. And he thought that, it seems, this merchant does not know that the goods are real. But why is the chance not found? Is the system out of order? Then Qin came up from behind and said that she wanted to purchase this item for its original cost. Bai Wu did not expect to see her here and looked at her in fright, wondering what she was doing there. The man was very happy and handed Qin this product and said that it was good, of course, let her take it. But their way was blocked by Bai Wu, who told them not to hurry because he was the first to come here. He will pay 10,000. Qin said 30,000. Bai Wu realized what she was doing. It was all on purpose. It seems that the stall owner has already guessed that the cost of the goods is much more expensive than its initial price. He exhaled and asked Qin, what if he pays 50,000? Of course, she can pay more and get this stuff for herself. But Qin said that well she would give 100,000. And I asked him, how is it for him? Bai Wu realized that he would not be able to spend it in such ways. She would continue to raise prices. Qin thought, does he really want to trick her? She had just bought this trash, and what was he going to do now? Bai Wu turned around and said that she took it well, and he thought that this girl herself did not notice how she raised the price instead of him. He's not stupid enough to measure money with her stranglehold. But still he continued to increase prices, despite the success. The man handed Qin her goods. The girl, after examining it, thought that it really was the Ming dynasty. This guy is not that simple, so she decided to pursue him with her. After some time, Bai Wu could not stand it and asked her that she would ever leave him alone. To which Qin asked him, is it really forbidden for her to walk on this road? She followed him everywhere and spoiled all the raspberries for him. He was already going to buy one item for 100,000, but the girl offered her said she would pay 200,000. At that moment, he could not stand it and, turning to her, asked her, is it really necessary to do everything on purpose? What is Qin for? He was told that if he couldn't afford it, then that was his problem. Of course, he can try to raise the price, but she doesn't care. She has a lot of money. She approached him and said that he had just turned 20 and dropped out of high school. Bai Wu said that, but he can already afford a premium car. Qin asked him if it seemed to him that it happened too quickly. Bai Wu asked her if she had really made inquiries about him. He was just lucky to find a good income. He never committed crimes. Then Qin asked him if he had told her about some super abilities. Or is he just very lucky? It's so cool. Until he was 20, he had nothing. He was an ordinary person. And even no inheritance. She doesn't even know what tricks he uses in order to achieve success. He was a pathetic loser, but she is not interested, because today he has a good income. and she will destroy him. Kin felt very confident and told him to answer, or he was so scared that she might deprive him of his earnings. Bai Wu told her that today she repeatedly prevented him from earning money and wasted his time, and now she's threatening to deprive him of his earnings. Kin asked him that did he really not believe that she was capable of such a thing. Bai Wu told her that he wouldn't let her do that. Kin just grinned and asked him that he wouldn't cry if he lost, would he? After all, he understands that she will not give him money today. And she herself thought that if he decided to buy something, she would deliberately inflate the price. Let's see what he will do with it. The great day followed on his heels, and when Bai Wu stuck to some man and started whispering something to him, Kin was right there and thought that was he really going to buy goods from him? Would she have to destroy him again? But Bai Wu only said goodbye to this man. Kin thought, what's the matter? What is this guy doing? Is he just chatting with every seller and not buying anything from them? Bai Wu squinted at Kin and thought so. What is the probability of success? The system said that the probability of success is 100%. Bai Wu said that fine, today he would teach her a lesson. After that, he called everyone he talked to and said that he wanted to buy all the goods they had. Kin, hearing all this, thought that it turns out that he just wanted to buy all the goods from all the likes. He is afraid that she may create problems for him and decided to hide his plan until the last. And she asked him what, did he really think she couldn't do anything? How naive he is after all. Bai Wu turned to her and said that if the bosses don't return, then let them make a deal together right now. But Kin intervened and said that she wanted to buy everything they have in the stalls. Bai Wu told her that she was going too far. Kin asked him if something was wrong. She also wants to buy, like him, all this product, and deprive him of his earnings. Bai Wu said that of course he knows that she has a lot of money, but they have a lot of goods. Would she be able to buy them all? She can't throw words to the wind just to scare him. Kin asked him that did he think she was stupid? Where did he get so much courage from? And I asked the sellers to name the total cost of the goods that they have. She will pay a 10% surcharge. The sellers exchanged glances, and then Kin began to put pressure on them, asking if they really didn't want to earn more on delivery. They should hurry before she changes her mind. The sellers told her that she could just leave her address, and they would certainly deliver everything. Kin asked them to give her their contacts and her assistant would contact them. The sellers said that, of course, no problem. After that, Kin looked at Bai Wu and asked him what and how would he react to it. Didn't she just deprive him of his earnings? Bai Wu just grinned and walked past her. He went to the sellers, and the sellers were very happy to see him. They said it was a great money, and they would not divide it 50-50 as they had agreed. One of the sellers said that he would transfer his share to him, and another seller said that he had already transferred part of it to him. If there is a similar offer in the future, then he should immediately write to him. Yes, he should address them right away. Bai Wu showed her his phone and thought that she was really surprised. She didn't expect this, after all. Kin was very angry and asked him if he had been in cahoots with them from the very beginning. Bai Wu said that yes, he was just strolling around the Vennywan market and looking for merchants who would agree to cooperate with him. Does she look so annoyed right now? He is in a win-win situation. Even if she buys all the goods, he will still be in the black. He repeats to her once again she will never be able to deprive him of his earnings. Kin said it was okay, but don't let him be so happy because they will meet again. Bai Wu shouted after her that he would not accompany her. Then he noticed that the system update had started. Bai was very happy and thought that, is it really a system update? Thanks to Kin, Bai Wu has earned a fortune today. According to her, she has a very large influential family. They cannot compete with each other. He thought that there would be some changes in the system after the update, but nothing has changed. But perhaps the difference will be noticeable a little later. At the moment, his strength is not enough. If he wants to earn a lot of money, then he needs to expand his social circle. However, how can he do it? It's going to be quite difficult. Bai Wu came out of the market, and then he was met by a man. He greeted Bai Wu. He said that he was Mrs. Kin's assistant and asked him if he could come with him. Bai Wu asked that after everything that had happened between them, did she still want to meet? And I asked the man that he was actually a scent killer or a former special forces soldier, wasn't he? But the man remained calm and told him that he was just laughing at him. His task is to come for him and take him to a social event. As an apology for today's misunderstanding, Bai Wu asked, what is an invitation to a social event? And this is as an apology. And he thought, why does it seem to him that Kin is up to something bad? On the one hand, he may not go anywhere because of the risk. But on the other hand, when he still has such an opportunity to expand his social circle, and he told the man that he would go well with him. 1 hour later, Kin met him and told him that she thought he wouldn't come. They went inside the building and Bai Wu said that even if she invited him with malicious intent, He was not afraid of anything. Kin looked at him and told him to follow her. She will introduce him to her friends. They approached the three people and Kin began to introduce them. The man with the blonde hair was young Mr. Wang. He is the future chairman of XINGHAI Group. Older men it was Mr. Zhu. He is the owner of STRITECH. There was also a girl who was young Lady Liu. She is the CEO of Top Eve Media. Bai Wu must have heard of them. Bai Wu was surprised and thought that there really are a lot of influential people here. When he sees them, he gets a little nervous. Kin noticed this and thought that this upstart was so nervous in front of the guests, but she would look at how much he would screw up. Bai Wu sensed something was wrong and thought that just look at Kin's expression. She was clearly waiting for him to disgrace himself. He needs to stop being nervous. It would be a shame if he really became a laughing stock. But he had an idea, despite the fact that no matter what kind of distinguished guests they are, they all eat and even more so drink. He just needs to imagine them in the toilet and everything will get better right away. After that, he shook hands with all of them and said that his name was Bai Wu. He is very pleased to meet them. Kin was surprised and thought, why did he start acting so relaxed? 5 minutes later, Kin and Bai Wu were sitting together at the table. The girl told him that he had done well. To be honest, she was very surprised how quickly he found a common language with them. To which Bai Wu replied to her that there is not much difference between people of the upper and lower classes. Kin told him that the difference between the estates is visible even to the naked eye. At that moment, a man came on stage and said that he was asking them to go to the auction hall and take their seats. The charity auction will start soon. Bai Wu asked, what is the charity auction? Kin grinned and, calling him a redneck, asked him if he really needed to explain it. Bai Wu said he didn't need to, and he's not a redneck. He knows what a charity auction is. Kin said it was wonderful. There is a Ming Dynasty porcelain cup here, and she wants to put it up for auction. As she had already found out before, he is well versed in antiques, and she really hopes that he will help her evaluate it. Then she put the box on the table. Bai Wu asked her what to evaluate her antiques, and then what will he get in return. Kin said she was kind today, so she would let him sell it on her behalf. He wants to make a lot of money, doesn't he? And he also needs to leave a good impression in front of the guests. Bai Wu thought that it was true. He needed to earn some reputation among the local guests. This is a great opportunity. He told her it wouldn't do. He doesn't believe she just wants to help him. Kin just spread her hands and said that she really had no malicious intent. But Bai Wu was still tense and thought that it was better not to trust this girl. He is 80% sure that this is a hoax. He looked at the box and thought, let's see if it's a fake. But the system told him that it was a real antique 100%. This Ming Dynasty is its approximate price is 12,500,000. Then Bai Wu thought that maybe something is wrong with the auction itself. But the system told him that the success of the auction is 100%. Then Bai Wu exhaled and thought that the antiques were real and everything would be fine with the auction. Then it turns out that he has nothing to worry about. Apparently, he's just thinking too much. Even if Kin decides to throw something, then in this case, he has a system. Kin asked him if he agreed. If not, he might forget about her kindness. Bai Wu said he agreed. He loves kindness. After that, the man said that he was already presenting one lot of a charity auction. Bai Wu carried this antique to the man and looked at Kin. It was clear from Kin's face that she was up to something. Bai Wu tensed up a little and thought that looking at her face, you can 100% understand that she is up to something bad. And the man announced that the representatives of the lot is Bai Wu. Bai Wu told himself that he just needed to stop thinking about the bad. After all, he has authentic antiques in his hands. Its success rate is 100%. He needs to find out what tricks she wants to throw out. After that, he took the place of that man and greeted all the guests, saying that his name was Bai Wu, and he's glad to see them all here. He would like to present his lot to them. But when he opened the box, he saw that it was not antiques, but toilet paper. The girl, one of the guests, was very surprised and asked if he had just auctioned a roll of toilet paper. The elderly man chuckled and said that the organizers had done a good job on the whole atmosphere. Bai Wu was at a loss. He thought that he knew that there was clearly something wrong. Is he so scared that he can't even move? But he calculated everything. There was definitely an antique 100%. Then he remembered that Kin had told him that her earring had fallen right next to his foot and asked him to help get it out. While Bai Wu was picking up her earring, Kin changed the boxes. But it was precisely at that moment that she switched them. He squinted at her and thought she had gone too far. The man who was the host of this auction asked him if by any chance he was in a hurry to go to the toilet. He had just grabbed half a roll of toilet paper. Kin watched this picture contentedly and thought that this time he had completely disgraced himself. Bai thought that no, if he runs now, he will embarrass himself even more. He must find a way out and somehow get out of this situation. Today is already ruined anyway, but he has to come up with something. Then a man shouted to him from the audience and said that it was better let's not show. They're not here to watch him fool around. The man who was sitting next to him asked if they could remove him. They don't want to look at this fool. Then the man turned to him and told him that he could not come down. Bai Wu thought that he couldn't just give up. Get away with it. He should calm down because the success of the auction is 100%, which means that there is a way out. He can't rely on the system at a time like this. He needs to use his skills and abilities. It's not for nothing that he has been writing books for so many years. After that, he picked up this roll of toilet paper and said that in their eyes it could be an ordinary roll of toilet paper. However, this is a very important thing for him. All the guests started up and started listening to him. Only one Kin was unhappy and thought, what is he up to this time? Bai Wu continued his speech and said that now they might not believe that such a tall, handsome, courageous man constantly cried as a child. Then they mocked him and called him a little girl. He told a story that it was his birthday that day. His mom made him noodles, and my father put a beautifully wrapped roll of toilet paper right on the table. Bai Wu then asked his father that why did he give him a roll of toilet paper. His father patted him on the head and said that he was a real man, and real men don't cry. The next time he cries, he should wipe his tears with her, and dad will always support him no matter what happens. But soon after, unfortunately, his parents left this world. His family lived very poorly, and therefore he was left with nothing but debts, and just one roll of toilet paper. Every time he remembers his father's words, he overcomes the urge to cry. He has endured a huge amount of adversity in life, and he remembers his father's instruction. He must be strong. Thus, step by step, he went to his goal. Finally, he is here. Half a roll of toilet paper is his evidence of struggle. Today, on this important day, he made a very important decision for himself. He will sell this roll at a charity auction. Kin was shocked and thought, how could he? She looked around at the expressions on people's faces and thought that, however, fortunately, it didn't work. Bai Wu thought, is it really a failure? It turns out that he failed. But then one man started applauding him and said that his story touched him very much. He really liked this guy. He will pay him 10 million. Bai Wu asked, is it really serious? The auction host said that he congratulates him on his victory. Bai Wu looked at him and thought, why does this presenter look so much like a donkey? He exhaled, but he was still shaking all over. He is lucky that he has experience in writing novels. However, he is still a little ashamed. He looked at Kin and asked her what, did she really want to frame him? He was ready for it. Kin said that he was lucky again this time. However, let him know that luck is not infinite. Then she got up and left there. Bai Wu wiped the sweat from his forehead and thought that he had just saved himself from disgrace. But the plan to meet all the celebrities seems to have failed. He went down to the parking lot and thought that even though he got out of this situation with the help of a fictional story, but in their eyes he was still a clown. And Kin also left. And without her, no one will pay attention to him. In order to get a high status, you need to work hard and earn a lot of money. Then a car drove past him. He saw the man to whom he had sold his toilet roll, and Muir was driving. Bai Wu thought, is this really the same person who bought a roll of toilet paper from him and Muir with him? But why are they together? Bai Wu thought, are these two really together? What is the system for? He was told that Muir has a joint business with this man, and they will get married soon. Bai Wu was surprised and thought that had his abilities improved. Could it be because of that update? So they will get married. So that's why she was acting so cold with Kin. Now he understands everything. It's so difficult with these rich people. It's better not to get involved with them. Now he has an eye on it to earn money quietly. So he needs to find an assistant among the antique dealers. After all, he doesn't really understand it. Then he remembered about Lao Wang and thought that, by the way, he remembered about him. I wonder if he's found anything of value lately. The system told him that Fatty Wang had valuable things again. Bale thought this guy was just amazing. Does he always find something cool? And that makes him richer all the time. Well, if he cooperates with him, wouldn't it be great? He has connections among antiquaries, a well-hung tongue. In some inconvenient moments, he can go for a break instead. Having him as an assistant, in the future it will be easy for him in antique circles. Well, now it's time for him to implement this idea. The next day, Lao Wang was talking on the phone and asked how he hadn't reached yet. Is it coming already? He's been waiting for him for half a day, so he needs to hurry up. After which he ended his call. Bai Wu came up to him. Lao Wang immediately changed his face and said that it was him. He has to get out of here because he has nothing for him. Bai Wu told him not to be so vindictive. After all, he came to discuss cooperation with him. Lao Wang asked, "What is cooperation?" Bai Wu told him that he was always lucky, so he always finds expensive antiques, and he can determine his true value, and not with him just created for each other. And as soon as they start cooperating, they will divide the profit from sales in half. What does he think about it? Lao Wang didn't trust him, so he told him that he had already used it 2 times. He ate meat and soups himself, and he didn't even lick the plate. Does he really want him to cooperate with him after that? He came to mock him, didn't he? Let him fail, he doesn't want to see him. Bai Wu thought that Lao Wang still hated him for those 2 times. He is very angry now. If he continues to persuade him, he may run into a fight. He didn't come here to swear, so first he needs to calm down. It is necessary to use the opportunity while it is there, and eventually it will crawl to him. At the moment when he had already moved away from the shop, Lao Wang, 2 people approached him. Lao Wang asked them why did they take so long? Bai Wu stopped and thought that it looked like Lao Wang had a big deal. Lao Wang told the man to take it out, and he would look. The man told him that it was the 7-star dagger of General Cao Cao himself. Lao Wang took this dagger in his hands to take a look. Bai Wu stopped and thought, is it really the 7-star dagger of General Cao Cao? That's a lie. He examined so carefully. How can this dagger be real? The system said authentic was 0%. Lao Wang told those 2 men that the price was not bad and asked them to name the price. Bai Wu, hearing this, got angry at him and thought that was he crazy to buy this fake. But wait a minute, could it be that this fake is specially made so that it cannot be distinguished from the original? The system said that the probability of detecting a fake was 0%. Bai Wu chuckled and thought that Fatty Wang was still a sly one. If this dagger even he can't tell the difference, this means that the level of fraud is quite high. However, he has the ability to see everything secret and explicit. However, is there really not a single flaw in this fake? Is there any way he can find out? He tried to ask if he could find any flaw, but I thought that's not how things are done. The system showed him the flaw of this dagger. Bai Wu began to examine it carefully and thought, is the gem really broken? Is the gem a fake? It can't be because Lao Wang has been selling antiques for a long time, but still damaged. Maybe it's really fake. Or is it not all about the jewel? But could there be something under the stone itself? How dare he reject his cooperation? We need to show him. Now he will show him a master class. He approached their group and Lao Wang immediately hid the dagger. Bai Wu told him that he didn't have to hide it, and he asked, what else is a 7-star blade? It's a fake. Lao Wang asked him what he meant. Bai Wu said that he had lost face. Lao Wang was angry and said that she was looking at this knife. If the blade was damaged or the shape was broken, he would have noticed, but he was fine. He has been in antique circles for 10 years. Does he really think that he will not be able to distinguish a fake from a real product? He realized what he really wanted. He has already told him that he will work alone, and that's it. Bai Wu told him that, and if he proves to him that this knife is a craft, will he go to talk to him in this case? Then Lao Wang asked him what if the blade turns out to be original. He wants to use this situation to cooperate with him, but he doesn't need him. Bai Wu asked him that how much would he sell this dagger for. Lao Wang told him that he had already said that he would not cooperate with him. Bai Wu said 500,000 yuan. But if he makes a mistake, he will pay him 10, no 100 times more. Lao Wang shoved this blade at him and told him to watch and not forget his own words. He must take into account that he does not trust him, because he has a reason to lie. So let him open their eyes. In what place is the blade fake? Bai Wu started looking at the blade and told Lao Wang that he would teach him a lesson today. He picked up some kind of thing and said that it was a combat weapon after all. Lao Wang asked him what he was going to do. But Bai Wu did not listen to him and swung, hit the blade, so that a yellow stone bounced off it. Lao Wang was very angry and asked him what he had done now that he would not live. Bai just chuckled and thought, is he still not willing to cooperate? After that, he showed Lao Wang the blade and asked him if he was sure there was a QR code during the 3 kingdoms. Lao Wang took the blade in his hands and realized that there was actually what Bai Wu had told him. He couldn't believe his eyes. Bai Wu told him that he had already told him that he was a master of antiques, and I asked him that maybe they would start their cooperation after all. Now Lao Wang was angry at those 2 men who brought him a fake. He told them that they were already completely fucked up. Did they really think to deceive him? Are they really tired of living? He turned around, but those 2 men were no longer there. Then he shouted to them that let them run. Otherwise, he's lying to them. After that, he turned to Bai Wu and asked him that how did he know that the dagger was fake? Or maybe he hired these 2 at all. Bai Wu asked him if he really thought he was with them. If he could make fakes of this level, does he really think he would look for it? He's got talent, too. Lao Wang said to hell with him, he couldn't listen anymore. Bai Wu turned to him and said that according to their agreement, he was winning, now he was working with him. Lao Wang said that he was so veiled, but he is really afraid that he will throw it, so Putin would rather look for another person. Then Bai Wu began to lose patience and told him that it wasn't fair. Lao Wang said that he is an ordinary antique dealer from the market, and he also talks to him about honesty. Once you open your mouth, the bigwigs will come right up. Probably, they will explain about honesty. Bai Wu asked, what are the bigwigs? Lao Wang said that he would still have to forget about cooperation with him. But Fat Wang was kind to him. He could not leave his help unpaid. He can take anything. It will be considered his gratitude for the help provided. Bai Wu asked, what is this garbage? Lao Wang asked, what is garbage? He traded it all. Let him just look, because this Kesuk Xuan Zhang himself put it on. Bai Wu asked him what kind of theatrical costume he stole from which troupe. There are even cigarette butt holes here. Lao Wang was confused and then showed him a wine cup from the Jingyang area of Wusong himself. I'm afraid he asked that why does it seem to him that this bowl is made of ordinary noodles? Does he even have normal things? Lao Wang started rummaging through his things again and said that he would show him the thing now. Where did she go? While Bai Wu was watching Lao Wang, he thought that this pile of junk seems like Fat Wang really has a life about nothing. To tell the truth, he has profited at his expense many times, and he would not be surprised if he did it on purpose. Then Lao Wang said that here they are. Bai Wu was very surprised and asked what else is that? Did he steal it in the parks on morning exercises? Lao Wang told him to open his eyes, because these are the twin swords of one of the most powerful generals of the Three Kingdoms era, Liu Bei. The system told Bai that it was 100% original. The owner of these paired swords is indeed Liu Bei, but other data is not available yet. Bai Wu asked what is the original. Lao Wang said that of course, but he could not give them to him. Thanks to him he would start a new life. Wu thought that it turns out Lao too has such swords. This is really God's mercy. Having this golden key, he will definitely be able to negotiate with that person. He needs to figure out how to get those swords. Lao Wang asked him what he had already seen. Did he really think he didn't have any worthwhile things? When he took them out, he almost died of envy. Bai Wu said that recently there was a 7-star dagger of Cao Cao, and now Liu Bei's paired swords. He is right on the way to the Three Kingdoms today. Lao Bei told him to just look at the condition of the shape and structure, and the design is so detailed. Bai said that he was also talking about the 7-star dagger just now, wasn't he? Lao Wang didn't know what to say to that. Then Bai Wu continued to put pressure on him and asked what he thought these swords had a QR code. Lao Wang completely drooped and picking up this sword thought that their dagger and sword looked the same as the original. The one who created these silver coins is magnificent. Instead he thought he could collect Liu and Cao's weapons and sell them at sky-high prices. And in the end, after that, he started shouting that fakes were coming across one after another. The Lord wanted him dead. Then he was stopped by Bai Wu, who said he was watching. Apparently, he failed. He needs these swords, so let him set prices for him, and he will bargain with him. Lao Wang said that he also said that he would thank him by choosing himself, so let him take it already. He's furious, so he gives it to him. Bai Wu thanked him. Then he left. After that, Lao Wang sat down on the table and lit a cigarette, thinking that Wu was actually a loser. Bai Wu noticed this and thought that he would look for something else, let him earn a little. Otherwise he would also feel guilty. In the beginning, he wanted to get acquainted with Qi Lao. However, he is a first-class tycoon in antiquarian circles. A simple gift at a meeting is not enough. There is a whole hierarchy of authorities. At the very top is a mysterious buyer. After that comes Qi Lao, the authority of the business circle. After that comes Bai-in, a new potential strength of the business community. After him comes the fat man Wang S, an old sly businessman. And the very last stage is called business students. Bai Wu thought that it was just possible to give these swords to Qi Lao. After all, then the thing will really meet a good owner. He stood at the entrance to Qi Lao's house and thought that if only he would not meet those uncooperative assistants of Qi again. He went inside and saw a woman there. He came up to her, greeted her, asked her what should she tell him that Qi Lao is here now. The woman told him that Qi Lao was busy right now and was temporarily not seeing anyone. Bai Wu thought that if CH Lao found out that he had come, would he want to meet him? The system said it's 100%. Then he asked this woman to tell him that the person who sold the porcelain to Tang Senkai last time had come again. The woman was surprised and said that it would be good to wait for the stomp, and she would give Qi Lao. There was a shout that he had come again. Bai Wu was scared and thought that there was no need to be afraid. He had already come. You need to control yourself. He came into the room and said that they had seen each other again. Qi Zio was in the room. She was doing her workout now. Bai Wu thought, what's the matter? Chi Zio said that he gets in her way too often. Today she must teach him a lesson. Then Bai Wu received an urgent notification, in which it was written that if he continued to stand, he would grab 100%. Zio was already swinging in order to hit him, but Bai Wu managed to dodge in time. Chi Zio took the vase and asked him that where did he run to, but then her grandfather appeared in front of her. He was very angry with her and asked why she was making noise again. She should put the vase in its place. She's getting worse and worse every day. She should go home and think about her behavior. Chi Zio said it was fine. But finally she told Bai to look, God forbid, she would see him somewhere. When she left, Bai Wu exhaled and thought that he was lucky. But why does it seem to him that Zio will not leave just like that? Then the girl stopped and said that after all, she couldn't just leave. Chi Lao apologized to Bai Wu and told him that their granddaughter was spoiled by her grandmother, so stupid. Bai Wu said that everything is fine. Madam, Chi is very sincere. He thinks that such a temperament is very good. And he thought that looking at Chi Lao, you can understand that he cares about something. The system said it still couldn't read thoughts. Bai Wu wondered if the system could even have such an ability. Chi Lao told Bai Wu that he should follow him up the stairs. They would talk in the tea room. They went up to the room and sat down at the table. Bai Wu said it was no wonder Mr. Chi's tea room was so unusual. Mr. Chi apologized for the inappropriate understanding of his granddaughter. Bai Wu thought he was apologizing again, or just being nice. Although no, he thinks it's just dust in the eyes. Sir, Chi asked him that he had visited him, so he must have brought something, didn't he? Bai Wu showed him the paired sword and asked him to take a look. Mr. Chi took this sword in his hands and asked, what is this thing of the Three Kingdoms era? Bai Wu said that nothing would hide from his sharp eyes. Such an extraordinary thing suits him perfectly. Mr. Chi, he said that these swords are products of the Three Kingdoms era and the price of such a product is now about 5 million. Bai Wu said that in addition, he can say that this thing is by Liu Bei himself. Mr. Chi said that if these swords were really Liu Bei's property, then the price could increase by 10 times. Bai Wu said that, as they say, a rare sword is given to a hero, and respect is given to a person with the highest virtue, so these swords are for him. The younger generation wants to present a gift to Chi Lao as a sign of his admiration. Mr. Chi said that there was no need to flatter him. If he sold these swords to an international buyer, the price would be fabulous. Bai said that antiques have one way. The main thing is that the thing meets its good owner. These items should belong to him. Even if others offer more money, he still won't sell them. Mr. Chi offered to drink tea. Bai Wu thought, what's the matter? Is Chi Lao not interested in these swords? Or is he just dissatisfied with it? The system said that the percentage of interest in swords was 100%, and the percentage of satisfaction with them was only 10%. Mr. Chi told him that this gift was very expensive, he could not accept it. In addition, in friendship, he values deeds and relationships, and expensive gifts. They still have the friendship of noble people, don't they? Bai Wu was confused and thought that this was a direct refusal to him. Does the discontent lie in the fact that he is uneven for friendship with him? He just lacks status. Mr. Chi said that he was directly finishing him off. These swords are good. The market value is from 5 million. He will pay him. Bai Wu remembered that then Mr. Chi had told him that next time, if he left some more good things, he could bring him. He would not let him down. He is an authority in this field, and he treats him the same way he treats Fatty Wang. After which, Strutting says that the swords received this gift, implying that he wants to rise to his level. Bai Wu thought that this old man was right. He needs to turn this situation around and not let him think badly about him, and told Mr. Chi that business is business. If Chi Lao decided to buy swords, then the price is not suitable. Mr. Chi asked him what was the matter. Bai said that he had just said that if the swords of Liu Bei himself, then the price would increase to 50 million. Mr. Chi asked him if he was sure that these were the swords of Liu Bei himself. Bai said that of course, because of his years, Wu has never met such things, and he is wondering if it is possible to verify the authenticity of fencing. Sir, Chi said that his intelligence is really like fire. Did he really inherit it? Is he from a family of scientists? Bai said that, in truth, he really comes from a family of scientists, but he does not understand the valuation of antiques at all, only at random and calculates. Mr. Chi said that it turns out that Mr. Bai understands art and how much can he calculate. Bai Wu said that not only antiques are enough, but all other things as well. For example, at the moment Zio is listening outside the window. Mr. Chi asked what. Bai thought that today, thanks to her, he would be able to solve another case. Chi Zio said that this Bai Wu is a real scoundrel and most likely he will want to cheat Grandpa again. She should listen to what they're talking about. But when she went up to the window, her grandfather was already standing there and looking at her with displeasure. Bai Wu smiled and thought that it was good that he had checked Chi Zio's location with the help of the system. Chi Zio wanted to justify herself, but didn't know where to start. Then Bai Wu got involved, who told her that he didn't know that she could climb buildings. Chi Zio asked him that he still dares to make fun of her. She's going to teach him a lesson. Her grandfather could barely contain his anger. Chi Zio told her grandfather not to scream, she knows she's wrong. Jumping off the building, Aunt shouted that she was already returning home to repent. She will be doubly remorseful. After that, Bai Wu asked Qi Lao what to hope. Is he now confident in his foresight abilities? To which Qi Lao said that he could just hear the sounds outside the window and guessed that it was Zio. Obviously, he won't believe it. Bai Wu thought that he would not believe him so easily. Then he decided to ask, what does he need to do to make him believe him? To which Qi Lao replied that if he had the gift of foresight, he would not have asked him this question. Bai Wu thought that CH had given him a check. If he didn't come up with something right away, then he was unlikely to get the opportunity to cooperate again. But can he convince him? The system said that the chance of convincing him is 87.25%. Bai, seeing this, was very surprised and thought that really such a high percentage. Well, how should he act? But he came up with something. Is he able to fully describe in detail all the antiques in the room? Then will he be able to convince him? The system said that the chance of success would be 100%. Bai Wu thought that it would be good if he did so, and he said that he had just inspected his tea room, and in it he saw 26 antique items. Qi Lao was not very surprised by this and asked that he had considered all 26 things. Then let him try to describe them. If he can describe them in detail, then he will believe in his abilities. Bai Wu said that let's say he lets him start. Qi Lao said that in that case he would listen to him carefully. Bai Wu laughed to himself and thought that just let him wait, now he's going to be awesome. And he ordered the system to start, after which every 26 products had a characteristic that only he could read. Bai Wu walked up to the table and, hitting it, said that this set, made of sandalwood from the Qin Qianlong era, isn't it? Qianlong era, September 25, 1711 to February 7, 1799. Qi Lao was a little surprised, said it wasn't bad. Bai Wu continued that it was probably from the room of the emperor himself and the approximate cost of 20 million. And I asked him what he was saying, right, wasn't it? Qi Lao said that was absolutely true, but if he wanted to convince him, then it wouldn't be enough. Then Bove picked up the next thing and said that this is a top-quality ink pot made of black jade from the Reformation era of the Ming Wanli dynasty, and the approximate cost of this product is 10 million, isn't it? The Wanli era begins from September 4, 1563 to August 18, 1620. Qi Lao said yes. Bai Wu added that the ink pot is because of the black jade when you use it in the Shufu Palace by Jan Jijino, the chief secretary of the Ming dynasty. Shufu Jan Jijino is the building of the main Daxu in the Ming era. Qi Lao was very surprised, and I asked him that how did he know that? They spent 2 whole years on this, studied a large number of historical books, in order to find out the exact origin of the ink pot. Bai Wu said that he had calculated it all. Qi Lao asked what he calculated. But how can this be? It's just not possible. Bai Wu smiled at him and told him that his ears were not lying to him. He shouldn't be so worried, because it's true. Qi Lao said he was already impatient and asked him to continue. The next thing Bai Wu said, it was a brush stand from the Imperial Library and King Jiaqing staffs, 1760 to 1820. And these brushes are the same from the era of mines. This turquoise tea is not from the Song state of the Chengqiu era, from 722 to 479 BC. Tsinghua porcelain of the Yuan era from Jingdezhen County of the Hushan pottery. Qi Lao was shocked. After that, Bai Wu said that so, he told in all 26 antiquities, and I asked him that he believed him now. Qi Lao said he would never have believed it if he hadn't seen it with his own eyes. Then Bai Wu asked him if he believed that these swords really belonged to Liu Bei. Then Lao said it was flawless. He admires the things in this room were given to him by inheritance. They were all examined. However, to confirm her authenticity of these swords, relying only on arguments, he thinks it would be unreasonable. Bai Wu wondered if he didn't believe him anyway, but the system said he believed him 100%. But if he believes him, then why argue with him like that? Was he provoking him? Or does he want to use it? The system said it's 100%. Bai Wu thought that this old man was not a blunder. He thinks about how to use it and doesn't even bat an eye. It is not surprising that he is an authority in these circles, smart as he is. He seemed to understand why he was looking at him so strangely. Did he really have something to do with him? The system said it's 100%. Does he really care about a thing that is related to antiques? The system said it's 100%. Is there really a thing he wants to ask to check on him? The system said he wanted to ask for a 100% examination. Bai Wu smiled and, turning to Mr. Qi, asked him what he had, and if he wanted him to help him carry out an examination. Qi Lao was very surprised and asked him, how did he know that? Qi Lao said that since he had guessed, then he would tell him. He's really been worried about an old thing lately, and if Mr. Bai can help him figure out if this thing is fake, then he will help him a lot. Bai Wu thought that Qi Lao had indeed encountered difficulties. If he helped him solve this issue, then wouldn't this be a great chance to improve their relationship with him? After that, he said that Qi Lao's affairs were his affairs. He promises to give his all. Qi Lao said that then he expresses his gratitude to him. After that, they went to the basement. Bai Wu asked that there is such a big basement here. Qi Lao said that they have to be careful, because a lot of valuables need to be well guarded. They went to a huge safe and Qi Lao said that they once quite accidentally received a vase with patterns of 9 dragons, a masterfully executed masterpiece. Bai Wu thought that the old man was really very influential in his field. He keeps valuables in an upper-class place. Compared to him, he and Fatty Wang are nothing at all. Meanwhile, Qi Lao went to the safe and, opening it, went in there with Bai Wu. Qi Lao said that he had tried different methods, but no matter how you look at it, this thing is genuine. Bai Wu thought, why does he have doubts then? Qi Lao said that he doesn't know why, but there is always some kind of calmness in his soul. It always seems to him that something is wrong. That's why he can't finalize the deal. If Bai Wu can prove the authenticity, then he will immediately purchase this vase. Of course, no matter what the outcome will be, he will thank Bai Wu with 10 million yuan anyway. Bai Wu thought, does he really think he's here for the money? The system said it's 100%. Bai Wu mentally told her that can she shut up. After all, his goal is far from that. Then Qi Lao said they came. This thing is here. He opened the door and told Bai Wu to come through. When Bai Wu went there and saw the vase, he was surprised and said that this thing is amazing. Qi Lao said that this is the same thing with patterns that he had previously talked about. The market value is approximately 1.3 billion yuan. Bai Wu was shocked by the price. Qi Lao said that he really hopes for his cooperation. Bai Wu said that there was no need to be so ceremonious. He would try his best. After which, he began to stare intently at this vase. Qi Lao looked worried and asked, what's up? Bai Wu told him that there was no need to rush him so much. He was still calculating. And she thought that the system usually always answered him right away. Why isn't she working today? The system told him that this system answers and analyzes only his questions, not his. Bai Wu then asked her what she had damaged, so let him answer, is this vase a fake or an original? The system said it was a 100% fake. Bai Wu asked her if she had any proof. The system said the evidence of forgery is located at the bottom of the vase. The way to recognize a fake is to break the vase. He will be able to find evidence with a chance of 24%. Bai Wu thought that 24% is very little. After all, it is worth 1.3 billion. Even though he knows that this is a craft, however, a tiny fraction of this 4% will disappear and he will fall. And while there is no exact evidence that this fake, he cannot act recklessly. Even if he sells it, he will not collect so much money. Usually an appraiser can certify that it is a fake. The system said that there is no such super powerful level of system similar to it that can accurately assess the possibility. 47%. Bai Wu called the system a braggart and said that okay, so an ordinary person is practically unable. Even Mr. Qi Lao with his level is not unable. He's afraid that the other appraisers won't be able to either. And if you knock it down, there is a risk that with the slightest carelessness he will dig his own grave. And if not broken, then it is obvious that his abilities will not cause him respect. Mr. Qi was hoping for some results from him. Bai Wu told him that he could claim that this vase was a fake. Mr. Qi asked him to fake it. But is he sure of it? Does he have any proof? Bai Wu told him that the proof was under the vase. They looked under the vase together, and Mr. Qi told him that he had already looked under the vases many times, and there were no differences. Did he talk about what evidence? Bai Wu said they were inside the vase, from below. Mr. Qi asked him if they really needed to break this vase. Bai Wu said that was the only way to make sure it was a fake. Qi Lao said that the deal has not been completed yet, and they haven't bought the ownership of this jug yet. To teach the jug is a very important matter. He must notify Mr. Lawyer. Bai Wu thought it would be scary if he couldn't handle this jug, but he has to take a chance. He asked Qi Lao to contact the owner and he would talk to him. Qi Lao took out his phone and said that as he wished. After some time, a man came to them and asked Qi Lao for forgiveness for making him wait. He asked if something had really happened. "What's the matter?" Bai Wu thought that the old man was worthy of coping on his own, but this time it was better for him to stay away. It is clear that he is an outsider here, however. Since he brewed this, then he needs to take the initiative. He asked the men that he was Mr. Zhang, wasn't he? And he himself thought that first he needed to provoke all this fake dealer. And he said that, looking at him, it's hard to believe that his antiques are real and not another fake. Mr. Zhang immediately changed his face and asked him what? Who is he anyway and what is he doing? Where is his place? Bai Wu said that his name is Bai Wu and he is here to help Mr. Qi Lao buy a jug of 9 dragons. Mr. Zhang asked him what he says is fake, right? He went around dozens of experts, and they all confirmed the authenticity of this jug. He is absolutely wrong. He knows it himself. What's he trying to be cool about here? Maybe then he will tell him what is wrong with this jug. Bai Wu thought that he was very confident in his forgery, but the probability of making a mistake is high. His forgery technology is unusual. So he reached for his sword and said that whether it was true or false, they would find out now. He thought that although there was a risk, there was nothing to lose. He picked up this weapon and said it was unusual. He never beat such expensive things. Mr. Zhang defended his jug and said he hadn't sold it yet. Why is he breaking it? Bai Wu thought that his reaction, he just proved it now. And I asked him that he was asking why. Because it's a fake. Mr. Zhang was already angry and asked him if he really wanted to joke with him. What kind of impudence is this? Bai Wu thought that he was so angry that he was ready to melt right now, but this is a very good moment for. Then he swung this weapon and said that he didn't care what they thought. Then he hit the jug. He told Mr. Zhang to get out of here, calling him a fake seller. Mr. Zhang turned to Qi Lao and asked him why did he let him do this? Ch Lao was calm and told Mr. Zhang not to worry. If Mr. Bai did not prove that this craft, then he would personally pay him off. After which, he looked at Bai Wu. Bai Wu thought that he knew what he was going for, and he knew that he could lose everything. What he did could have huge consequences. But then Mr. Qi added that, however, if Mr. Bai finds evidence that there is something wrong with this jug, Bai Wu realized that it wasn't easy for the old man either. He, like him, takes a lot of risks. They should both hope for luck. He started rummaging through the fragments in the vases and thought where was the flaw. The system pointed it out to him. He swung again, but stopped and thought that if he kept hitting so hard, then couldn't he break the spot of the flaw? The system said that, given the power of the hammer, the probability of destroying the flaw is 58.7%. Bai Wu was scared and thought it was close. He almost broke his heart in his heels. After that, he began to gently poke and thought, what if so? The system said that the probability of destruction is 13.7%. Bai Wu thanked the system and thought that he seemed to understand. There's not much left. But after a while he was in a panic and thought, what is going on? Why is he so unlucky? He just can't screw up. Then Mr. Zhang turned to Mr. Qi and said that everyone said it was the original. Only this boy said it was a fake. He keeps hitting and not a single proof. They don't even know what a loss it is anymore. To which Mr. Qi told him not to worry. If the attack seems wrong, then he will pay extra. Bai Wu looked at Mr. Qi and thought that he was staring so intently. If he does not find anything, then he will not be able to explain himself to him and he will be finished. Then he struck one last time. In a panic, he began to prowl among the fragments of some flaw and thought that why is there nothing? But then he finally found it. A piece of paper with a QR code was hidden inside the vase. Bai already showed it and told them to see it with their own eyes. What is it? Mr. Qi took this fragment in his hands, and when he realized that the vase was a fake, he changed everything in his face very much, and asked Mr. Zhang to explain it to him. Mr. Zhang said it's impossible. It's just impossible. After Mr. Zhang was taken away, Bai Wu exhaled and remembered something that the broken blade also had a QR code. And this means that they were produced in one place. Mr. Qi said he was very grateful to him. Bai Wu told him not to be so kind. He was always happy to help. Mr. Qi handed him a business card and said that if he had any problems in the future, he should call this phone and he would be happy to help him. Bai thanked him for his generosity, and he said he thought it would come in handy, and I thought that he had succeeded. Now he has a patron. After he came out of his house, he thought 50 million for a pair of swords, plus 10 million for helping Mr. Qi. He is extremely lucky today. Now it's time to proceed to the next step. He needs to earn even more money. Bai Wu was driving in his car and remembered Lao Wang and thought he should visit his friend today. He has already made friends with such an authority like Qi Lao. The fat man will not be able to resist. It will be necessary to give him 10 million steam swords. He can't refuse. Bai Wu arrived at his destination just in time. After all, a car stopped at Lao Wang's shop and forcibly shoved him inside. Lao Wang asked them who were they? Bai Wu was surprised and thought this was happening. Is this really a kidnapping? The system said that the probability of abduction is 75%. I'm afraid I rushed to catch up with them. Can't he leave him? But why did this gang need a fat man? Had he been kidnapped for ransom? The system said that the probability of a ransom demand is 12%. Bai-Wu thought it didn't matter because he had to call the police first. But he didn't have an internet connection. He thought, is there really no signal? Shouldn't he be fishing all over the world? The system said that the probability of blocking the signal with a special device is from 89 to 95%. Bai thought, is it really blocking? Does he really need to go there, and what kind of gang is this anyway? What is the percentage of a successful rescue of a fat man? The system said 37%. I'm afraid Wu thought that was enough. He would see who could stop him. The system informed him that in 5-8 seconds the guard would go to take a leak. He should enter and go to the right. He has 3.8 seconds for this to sneak in. Bai-Wu passed unnoticed by the guard and thought that he was risking his life in order to save this fat man. Just let him try to refuse him, and ask the system where is he now? The system showed him the map, and she said that 30 meters straight and then you need to turn right. After 8 seconds, the guards will disperse. Within 13 seconds it is safe to pass.